You probably heard the term fake it till you make it, and it's kind of spread around like, okay, if I'm going through difficulties, you know what, I'll just put on a good face and be like, you know what, we're doing well, and then when I finally make it, then it'll pay off. But it really is kind of a false narrative, because making it doesn't really entail anything about, oh, getting rich, famous, or having all these, like, it really comes from inner peace and being content with yourself and with what's going on around you. Because you hear these, like, mega stars, these, like, famous people, and they're, like, sad, or this, or that, like, there's always something that's like synonymous with pretty much anyone, and it's because all that stuff, like the making all that stuff, is really not dependent on anything physical. Like, it's not dependent on, oh, I started some huge movie, I made a bunch of money, or made a big song, or this or that, because all that stuff fades away. Eventually, whatever you get from that will fade away and such. So being consistent in here and in here is really the most important part to dictate how you feel for your entire life, so that there's no faking it, whatever, you're just literally living it out. Because being dependent on things like specific events or weekend or this or that, it's just gonna put you in loops. And that's what a lot of people like nowadays, I mean, especially, it's kind of just synonymous with life, that you work a job that you probably don't like, and then so you look forward to weekends and then you just go right back to not feeling like that. But it's all a matter of perspective, because it may seem like impossible. It may seem like, oh, if something happens that's bad, then I'm gonna feel sad. Like, it just seems like that's a thing, but it's really not. It's the way you frame how you look at it that determines how you feel from it. It may sound like I'm waffling, it may sound like I'm just chatting stuff, but throughout my experiences, as times have gotten progressively more and more difficult, I've realized that it's how I look at it that determines how it affects me. I mean, years ago, after losing my dad, I went through the toughest time of my life, but you couldn't tell, like, people around me could not tell how I was feeling, and partially there was problems with that, about emotions, stuff like that, but there was other thing about mindset and being like, you know what, even through this is a good thing, this is going to help me, so I'm going to keep the stuff I'm passionate about, such, even through immense difficulty, because it was a perspective deal that was already hitting before I was actually feeling it. It was like, okay, right now I'm going to be present, and life is what it is. Hopefully that makes sense and it's not crazy, but really this all comes down to the idea that to make it in life is really just to be okay with yourself. Put simply, with all this stuff, perspective, passion, like, it's really to be okay with yourself. Because if you're okay with who you are, what you're doing, who you're around, you may think like, oh, I work some job I don't like, or oh, my family, whatever. It's not dependent on that. It's dependent on how you, like, your connection to that, like how you let that dictate your life. Because at least for me, I can say that there's not been a lot of times in my life where I've been in a situation that made me feel happy. At least in the last few years of my life, I've probably failed, got rejected, various aspects of my life, like whether it's like jobs, whether it's like love and all that stuff. It's kind of everywhere. Just a month ago, I got fired. I recently moved, like, completely by myself, so I'm alone, fired. My dad, who was like my main dude, is dead. But here is good. It doesn't make sense. With this whole idea of fake to make it, like, it doesn't make sense because I haven't made it. Like, there's no make it about what's happened now. No girlfriend. I got fired, and I'm by myself. It's like the holiday season. All that stuff is happening, but it's good here because of this thing, because of everything I've gone through, because of the perspective. That's the trick. So that's why I'm saying, like, I'm not just saying stuff just because, like, I've experienced it and I have no way in shape or form made it. Trust me on that one. It really all comes down to the belief of everything has a reason. Like, even if it's tough, good, whatever, everything has that same silver lining that it's for a reason. There's a reason. So I'm not really as dependent on situations as I am how I respond to them. Because in life, it's not what's happening, it's how we respond to it. Like, how we feel about something, our connection, that's word. Our connection to things in life is what makes us feel something. Like your connection to a parent, your connection to a friend, your connection to a game, a job, all that stuff. Your connection to it is what dictates feeling. Say you're in love with a girl. You're in love with a girl, major connection, she leaves or whatever, strong sadness, because you're like, I felt a lot, strong connection. Let's say there was this friend that you weren't really a fan of, they were just like a jerk to you or whatever, they left, you probably didn't feel it nearly as much because the connection wasn't as strong. So it's your connection of things that determines it. So by understanding how to, like, wire that connection and use it as a way for good is great. So that, okay, let's say lose a parent. It's a pretty intense one, but let's just take that for an example. On paper, bad, negative, all this stuff. You know it's going to be tough. Like, it's not something that's going to be, you could hate that parent, but it's going to be tough no matter what. So I know it's going to be tough. But if you think about it in the sense of, but it's going to help me and there's a reason behind it, then it's like, you know what? It's going to be tough. I'm going to be crying. I'll depress. Like, it's going to happen. But I'm going to be maintaining this mindset consistent throughout it because I know that it's for a reason and I know that I can handle it because I'm going through that. And trusting that having that foundation and then going through something like that, even if it takes years, even if it takes difficulty, even if it takes whatever, but going through it with that mindset of trust and everything will be okay, it's really the key. That's what I think making it really is. So whenever you hear the fake it till you make it or anything, just think in that sense of, you know what, the moment I got right now, how you look at it is determined how you'll feel from it. There's gonna be tough times, it's inevitable, but just being like, you know what, thank you for these tough times, because I know that it's for a reason and it's going to lead me to a better spot down the line. At least for me, that helped me get to a place where I feel good, even through times where it's not really on paper for me to feel good. And to kind of segue this into some other stuff, if you want to hear me talk about not being a people pleaser and all that jazz, here, check out this video. But anyways, see you guys next time. Love you all, and God bless.